continues to be an inspiration to me, and I know to many others in the room. His Excellency, the Palestinian Ambassador.
Thank you, Kim, and we are all in awe of you and people like you who have helped us during that very difficult time. My friends, ladies and gentlemen, honorable members, thank you for this warm reception. It's almost like a shot in the arm. And thank you, Kim, and congratulations to you, your colleagues, and the new Labour government. It's an honor to be here among you. With so many new faces, and I had the honor of meeting some just before coming here. What a vibe, what energy. Change feels like coming, I have to say. And the many old friends too who have made it back to the parliament, the experienced ones, yes, absolutely. Sadiq, you're in the wrong spot, my friend. You have... And allow me to begin by thanking really the Labour Friends of Palestine, not only for hosting today's event, but for playing an important role in the heart of the Labour movement for many, many years. You have worked tirelessly and courageously to support peace and justice for the Palestinian people, in line with the Labour values of justice, equality, human rights, and respect for international law. And allow me here to mention the founders and the long-serving members. And I see Andy Slaughter, and he deserves my applaud and our applaud. And I'll have to double complain about Andy because he's both the MP for my office and my residence. They merged Hammersmith and Chiswick. We're very proud of what you have been doing and really appreciate your long service. Richard Burden, who has been with you throughout the years and has been a figure behind much of what happened. He sent me a message yesterday that unfortunately he couldn't make it, but Richard has been there. But I saw Phyllis Starkley among us here, who also was a founder of the Labour Friends of Palestine. And Phyllis, where are you, Phyllis? Can we see you? Thank you very much. And of course, Julia Elliott for keeping the torch in the last so many years and the difficulty with it. And I see here many friends who have kept also the work of Labour Friends of Palestine, Naz Shah, and many of her colleagues here. Thank you for all that you have done. And I must mention one dear friend, Del Singh, God rest his soul, who was one of the main engines behind the foundation of this, and we have here with us Kumal Idris, who was with him in the early years, and all those who have worked together, all the institutions to bring us to this moment, including Cabo, and I see Chris Doyle here, and many of the institutions who have had. And what an honor to be just speaking after Sadiq and after Alf, and what a competition. I mean, how can you follow that? And you know, Alf, since I have come to know you, I have come to realize why everybody considers you to be the national treasure. You are the icon and the exemplar of those labor values. And I very much appreciate what you do. I appreciate your visits to my office, especially in times when I needed these visits and I needed these words. And of course, my very dear friend Sadiq Khan, a trailblazer in every sense, really. And a true leader, who was one of the very first, in the first days, to call for an immediate ceasefire of Gaza. History has recorded your principled position, Sadiq, and we will always remember that. And it is such a pleasure and such an honor to hear from the very new minister, our good friend, Hamish Falkner. And I must say, it was such an honor to meet him earlier today. And I left the meeting with a feeling that change is coming. And we will work together. We'll work together so the labor values and the new government's principles are implemented. So, my friends, I am also honored by the presence of many of my colleagues, the ambassadors from many countries. Thank you for honoring us and being here. And I'm not going to list all of you, otherwise I'll run into issues. So, my friends, this is a historic moment for Britain, and it is a historic moment for the Labour Party. You will be part of shaping the next chapters of Britain's future, as well as Britain's role in a world that is in turmoil. And not just Palestine. It's a world, Hamish, in turmoil. We hope the new government positions itself as a firmly committed in international law and the rules-based order, and provides clear-eyed and principled leadership on Palestine and other global issues. We very much welcome the Foreign Secretary's statement on Friday to restore funding for UNRWA, a critical lifeline for millions of Palestinian refugees in Gaza, the West Bank, and neighboring countries. I was educated by UNRWA. I very much know the significance of UNRWA. It was unconscionable to defund UNRWA in the first place based on unbased allegations. Also, my friends, on Friday, the International Court of Justice, the highest court in the world, ruled Israel's occupation of Palestinian territory as unlawful, calling for an immediate end to the occupation and an immediate end to Israel's illegal colonial settlements project, along with the removal of all settlers from the occupied West Bank and East Jerusalem. And it confirmed, that is the ICJ, that Israel is engaged in racial segregation and apartheid as part of this occupation. Earlier the same week, however, Israel's parliament, the Knesset, passed a resolution that overwhelmingly rejected the establishment of a Palestinian state. Just yesterday, Israeli parliamentarians approved a bill designated UNRWA as a terrorist organization. And in the past 3 months, Israel has confiscated the largest chunks of land in the area of the occupied territories in 30 years. In 30 years. Nothing illustrates better the nature of our issue and the size of our task ahead of us. And nothing will be gained from averting our eyes from this reality. We cannot keep on treating the symptoms and expecting different results. We've done that long enough. The principle of ending occupation is non-negotiable. That's what the ICJ said. This is not up for negotiations or a grab. This is non-negotiable, and this cannot be a partial solution. There can never be a partial solution. There can never be solutions for Gaza only, and there can never be solutions without Gaza. There must be a comprehensive solution that encompasses the West Bank, Jerusalem and Gaza, and leads to the establishment of a state of Palestine. So, my honorable members, the Labour Party ran its recent election campaign on a promise of change. The Labour Party ran its recent election campaign on a promise of change. We agree and wholeheartedly support this desire for change. We need it as much. Change is urgently needed in the UK and worldwide. Israel's bombardment of Gaza the last 10 months has been merciless, savage, barbaric. We know that Israel has killed and wounded 150,000, mostly children and women, with the real number likely to be much, much higher than this. Israel has killed an unprecedented number of children, health workers, aid workers, journalists, displaying a blatant disregard for the rules of war. Israel has dropped more bombs on Gaza than the Allied bombing of Germany the entire period of the Second World War. The destruction of Gaza is near total. Total decimation of homes, schools, universities. 70% of homes, 80% of schools, 90% of hospitals, and 100% of universities destroyed. So they are not just targeting lives, they are targeting livelihoods to make sure that Gaza is lifeless, that Gaza is unlivable. So those who come and tell us that, oh, Israel doesn't have a plan, it doesn't have a military plan, it doesn't have a political plan. It has a plan, and it has executed its plan with almost perfection, which is rendering Gaza simply unlivable. With all that you have followed in terms of cutting basic sources of life, water, electricity, food, the use of famine and disease as a weapon of war. So we are witnessing a genocide, my friends, and we are leaving the ICJ to continue its process, its due legal process. But the ICJ has already accepted South Africa's case and said that it is plausible that the crime of genocide has been committed, and therefore Israel is now officially on trial for genocide. And this must end. And this must end now. I mean, there is no conversation about, this is not a ceasefire between two warring parties. This is a genocide that must end, and we must exert all of our political and legal abilities to bring it to an end. We must work together to enforce an immediate and permanent ceasefire in line with UN Security Council Resolution 2728 and the ICJ ruling. Israel cannot be, my friends, allowed to block these efforts with impunity, not anymore. This is why we call for sanctions and arms embargo in Israel until it complies with the numerous international resolutions, retreats, and allows humanitarian aid to reach Gaza without hindrance. They will not heed only calls and statements. It has got to be followed by action. But this is just the first step of what must be concerted effort to address and resolve the root cause of conflict, my friends. This is the moment not to look at the consequences or the symptoms, but to focus on the root cause, which is very simple. As per the judges of the International Court of Justice, one word: occupation. This will take courage, convictions, and leadership. Courage, convictions, and leadership. And I am confident the new government will seize the moment. And we all will seize it with them. I am hopeful because Labour government and Labour parliamentarians have done so in the past. You have done so in the past. There are Labour legislators in Parliament today who fought to bring an end to apartheid in South Africa in the 80s. It was a Labour government that led the Northern Ireland peace process. Wasn't it? It was a Labour government. In 2014, under the leadership of Ed Miliband, it was the Labour Party that led the successful vote for state recognition in the UK Parliament, in this very House. I firmly believe that it can be a Labour government that helps bring peace and security in our part of the world. I firmly believe that. And it can start by recognizing the state of Palestine, along with 149 countries who have already done so. First, because Britain has a moral and historic responsibility and obligation, my friends. Britain does have that obligation. And it is, as the Prime Minister said, before elections and after elections. It's an inalienable right. It's not a gift, and it's not a favor. And it's long overdue. And second, state recognition levels the playing field, leaving us to resolve a conflict between two states, Israel and Palestine. Third, recognition brings clarity about the end goal and underscores the international community's commitment to the resolution of the United Nations. So I'll end here, my friends, honorable members, by saying this. We stand at an inflection point for the global order, and we do, I believe it. So much is at stake. So much is at stake. And if you think it's only Palestine, think again. And it is a moment that has to do with the future we want to leave behind for our children. It is incumbent upon us to ensure that that order that we built together, that post-World War II order, is maintained. If it is to return credibility, that order has to apply equally on all. That's the password. That's the keyword. This, the equal application of international law has got to include ending the culture of impunity, ending Israel being the only international actor above every rule we built, and making sure that all are subjected and applied to, the same rules. It is up to us, my friends, together to rise to the occasion and live up to those values we all cherish. And we look forward to working closely with you, Hamish, and with the new government, and with the new members of parliament. What a scene. What an inspiring scene. And we look forward to bring about the change that we all so desperately need. Thank you.